Hi, and welcome to Tim and Joel's Weekly Draw. I'm not really going to do a hokey, awkward intro this week just because some sad news last night with the passing of Jon Huber.
Yeah, that kind of pulls the wind out of your sails, doesn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it's a big bummer, man. Like, 41 years old, I was really looking forward to see him doing a lot more in AEW. We're not going to get the chance.
Us as Canadians, of course, know that John was a huge Leafs fan to the point where the Toronto Maple Leafs did their social accounts did reply that they'll miss him and leaving their condolences, as do we for the family of Jon Huber, Brody Lee, Luke Harper, as he was in WWE. He's got kids, he's got a wife, and it's awful news, and we really hate to see it so young at 41 years old. Again, matches with the Wyatt family, a member of the Bludgeon Brothers, an Intercontinental Champion, a Tag Team Champion, AEW TNT Champion. Did you know, Tim, that he once challenged for the NXT North American Championship?
I did not know that.
He had a match against Ricochet on an NXT house show in, I believe it was upstate New York. This was in between times. This was between the Luke Harper and Bludgeon Brother Luke.
Yeah.
So little levity. He'll be missed. Brody Lee, he was 41 years old. So we're going to run down the week. I know it's going to be a little weird, but I'll tell you right now, on Raw, there's nothing announced. So we can just move on and we're just going to go right into Wednesday. I had NXT first. Let's just talk about AEW first and do that. It's New Year's Smash. It's night one. There's going to be 2 nights of New Year's Smash, so let's run down just night one and then give you guys night 2 later. Jake Hager is going to take on Wardlow in a match that's been building. A lot of side eyes and a lot of beat up contests and just 2 big men going after each other. Tim, what do you think?
Big at each other. They're gonna big at each other real hard.
You think they're gonna do the spot where they try to take each other down by running into each other in the ring?
Oh, most definitely. There'll be some shoulder bumps. That, you know what? Maybe they'll even do some like gorilla chest thumping. We'll see.
As Big E would say, 2 big meaty men slapping meat.
Basically, that's exactly what's going to happen.
For the AEW Women's Championship, you've got Hikaru Shida, the champion, taking on Abaddon. So the story here is essentially Abaddon scares Shida to the point where Abaddon bit Shida, which makes me wonder, is Abaddon really after the AEW Women's Championship, or does she want to make Shida a vampire?
I mean, I don't. What is a greater reward? You know, creating a friend in unlife or holding a piece of mortal valued metal and leather. I'd say that she's going to try to make Shida a vampire.
I would like that friend for life. That's nice.
That's
a real nice thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
When we talked about it on our show this past week on Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, by the way, Thursdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube. You can find us, youtube.com/Tim and Joel Pod. We talked about this. At one point, there will be a wrestling storyline that started years and years and years ago and just ends. Fade to Black ends. Maybe this is the one where the 2 vampire friends link arms and walk off into the night. Fade to Black.
And Gangrel can come out, and welcome them into the fold, the brood.
Oh my God.
They can walk off.
Gangrel, whatever you're up to, you should be ready for 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday. That's Eastern Standard Time, just in case you didn't know.
It's a shame. Right. I would have liked to see Hikaru Shida wrestle some more. She's pretty young.
She is, but unfortunately, we've got Vampire Shida now.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Whatever needs
All right,
to happen.
well, here's someone making his return on night 1 of New Year's Smash, and that is Jon Moxley, the former AEW World Champion. My question out of all this is, who's Mox going to come after first? He's got Kenny Omega. Kenny kind of screwed him over for the title. Yeah, stole the title. Yeah. Maybe Pac? Maybe it's Moxley versus the Dark Order? Don't know why. Yeah. Who do you think? Who comes to mind to you?
I don't know. Like, everyone's pretty stabled up, so there's no like single challengers other than Kenny. It'd be weird to have him just go for the title and lose it again, because like you don't want to take the strap off Kenny that quickly. I can see them throwing Eddie back at him again, just as like a one-off feud to buy time while they build up something else in the background,
I got it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, it's Jon Moxley taking on all of the dads in AEW until he gets to the main dad,
Supreme Dad,
who stole his thunder. He's gonna face Cody. It's gonna be Cody and Mox for who has like the most dad points before they become dads.
Oh my God. I don't in any way believe that AEW would do this. This feels more like an Impact gimmick, but Tournament of the Supreme Dads does sound phenomenal to me. I would really love to watch that. Book it. Please book it. Tony Khan, if you're listening, give us a Tournament of Dads.
Oh my God. But they call it like the Dad Eliminator Tournament or something like that. The Gauntlet Dad Tournament.
They'll brand it wrong, but whatever. We'll make up our own title for it, and we'll make graphics for it. We'll do the whole shebang, because I would really love to see that. Just Moxley beating up dads.
All right, things we really want to see include that, and it also include the AEW World Championship as we're discussing it. The champion Kenny Omega defends for the first time against Rey Fenix. Omega will have Don Callis in his corner, and Rey Fenix will of course have his brother Penta El Zero Miedo, or Zero M depending on who you ask. That's going to be good. It's going to be an excellent match, and the only reason we're doing this is because Rey was not a part of the finals, in which he had made his way into during the AEW World Title Eliminator Gauntlet. Tim, who's going to win this match?
Is Kenny Omega a father?
He is not.
Right? Yeah.
Not to our knowledge.
Is Rey a father?
Again, not to our knowledge.
Then neither of those men can win. A third
Can Don Callis win?
Don Callis is going to run in there and steal that title. No, it's going to be a good match. There'll be a lot of dives, which I'm sure JR will be thrilled to call. Yeah, I have no idea who's going to win. Kenny. Yeah, I do. Of course I do. It's Kenny. Kenny's going to win.
So because you and I talk about Impact on our show every week, by the way, timandjoelpod.com, you can see that we talk about Impact, and you have Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone every week on a paid advertisement for AEW on Impact. And this past week, Tony said that if any Impact wrestlers want to step into Dynamite's shoes, they're welcome. Do you think there's a chance we see some crossover this coming week?
I don't know. Like this is going to be the test, right? Like if we do see it, maybe there's more legs to this than a couple of Kenny spots and some matches, or the 6-man tag match. I don't know who we'd see. Maybe Rich Swann.
There are a couple of good brothers I can see. Maybe joining Rey and his brother, and maybe another triangular member of their faction.
Maybe. Could be.
We'll have to find out, and you'll find out this Wednesday at New Year's Smash Night 1 for AEW. Let's talk about NXT. We have a couple of really, really banger matches coming up. We've got Roderick Strong taking on Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne attacked Roddy Strong during last week's NXT main event featuring Adam Cole and the other guy. And by the way, Roderick Strong attacked Pete Dunne almost 3 years ago. So maybe it's time for Pete Dunne to let it go.
Yeah, maybe. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I do think this match will deliver. We know that it will deliver because these two men are on top of their game and are excellent performers. So I'm looking forward to Dunne versus Strong. We'll see. Maybe there'll be some involvement from the other members of the Kings of NXT or the Undisputed Era. But regardless, if they let these two go, they will go until they're on the floor. Mm-hmm. Whew, be a good match. For the NXT North American Championship, you have Johnny Gargano taking on Leon Ruff. For Ruff, he is trying to basically have lightning strike twice and chase more NXT gold. And then for Johnny, well, you think the way will propel him to a successful title defense?
Well, see, that's the thing. Because, like, it seems like NXT knows they've got something with Leon Ruff, which I don't know why they wouldn't have known that, but they know it objectively now. But they're also trying to build Johnny's stable now, so it's hard to know which way this will go. Like I could see good narrative storylines to go with either victor here, so it's going to be an interesting match. It'll be exciting to see someone that Johnny can throw around right there with him like that. That's going to be really interesting. So I think we're going to see some stuff that we haven't seen before from him.
another hard-hitting match that'll be on NXT this coming Wednesday. And by the way, if you are of the social kind, you can go onto NXT's social channels, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and vote now on the NXT year-end awards. Tim and I were looking at them earlier, and the only thing we have to say is that's a lot of hashtags.
It's so long too. Some of those lists, man. Like,
yes, sir. And for SmackDown next week, we have 2 matches announced. So actually, a match and a segment, I should say. So building off of Daniel Bryan's entry announcement into the Royal Rumble, we have the return of the Friday Night Savior, the new father who will, I guess, have to face the other fathers now in a cross-brand invitational, right? Is that what we're doing? Sorry, call that.
I didn't know it was going all the way across all of WrestleDom. Yes. But
Seth Rollins returns to Friday Night SmackDown, and I'm assuming he's just gonna announce that he's entering the Royal Rumble.
What if becoming a father has changed him and it's a gimmick shift? Because this one difficult.
At least he's not gonna come out and say, "Turns out Dominic Mysterio, I am your father."
Oh my God, no more.
There's
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's definitely going into the Rumble. Yeah, part of me is just hoping that they leverage this as a gimmick change. I think if they do, it'll be bad. Like, it'll be a bad way to get there. But however they get there, I'll be happy with it.
Exactly. Who do you think would come out and try to challenge Seth?
That's a good question. They do need heels, eh?
They do. And is Seth the heel, or is he coming back a triumphant new father babyface?
That's what they can't do. If they're doing a gimmick change, he's not still going to be a villain.
No, he'll be dad jokes Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it'll be weird.
We'll call him Seth the Dad.
Oh,
thank you, Dan the Dad. We miss you.
Yeah. I have no idea who he would wrestle. Like, I can see them transitioning to Daniel Bryan specifically. I don't know how he's going to save SmackDown from Daniel Bryan. But that
Daniel Bryan saving SmackDown from itself in some of those segments.
Exactly. Like, the savior thing has never really mattered anyway, so I don't know. He'll wrestle somebody.
Yeah, and you know what? In the meantime, I'll deal with it, because there are 2 men that are not going to be going after Seth Rollins upon his return, and those 2 men are Big E, the new Intercontinental Champion, and King Corbin, because those 2 men are going to be facing off this Friday night on SmackDown. And you know what? I was reading into this. I figured out why this match is happening. It's not just because Corbin gets whatever match comes first. It's actually because during the Lumberjack match this past Friday, he sent both of his Knights of the Lone Wolves, Blake and Cutler, to attack Big E every time.
Ooh, okay.
So
that's
there's
a
something
nice
there.
Build, yeah. Well, I mean, and they... Was it Baron back with Retribution running amok? Big E was, like, showing a little bit of leadership moxie. Wasn't it Baron that came up and was, like, being a douche about it?
That's pretty much peak Corbin over there.
Deep.
Yes.
Runs deep. Good feud. This'll run for 6 months now.
Oh no, that's a King Corbin feud in a nutshell. Either way, you know what? Corbin continues to have some pretty good matches, and I think he and Big E will be a good test to see just how much Big E can bring as a singles competitor to the SmackDown landscape and as Intercontinental Champion. By the way, I say it almost every week on the show, if you're not watching Talking Smack and seeing the types of promos these wrestlers cut when the cameras aren't on them and they only have, 30 seconds to hit their marks. No, watch Talking Smack, see the kind of acting and the kind of promos that they cut. They are much better.
Cool.
Tim, that's the week in wrestling.
Yeah, brief week.
Yeah. So for now, where can the kids find you?
Kids can find me at Tim Stone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter. And you?
You can find us at timandjoelpod.com or youtube.com/timandjoelpod. You can also see us every single Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern as we do Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring. That's our live podcast. That's what we talk about. We talk about wrestling. We make silly jokes like these ones that you saw today, and we just enjoy ourselves. Yes, we'll be on New Year's Eve, 8 p.m. We're going to do something fun. And in the meantime, you can find me at Joel Pearl all over social media. And by the way, Happy New Year, folks. We'll see you next week.